Final segment of True Crime AZ Live tonight. This one out of Texas. When I was looking for other segments to cover on the show, I knew I was covering those two cases earlier, but I was looking for a third case, and all of a sudden I saw this and thought, oh my God, what? This is crazy. Okay, so let's tell you about it. We're talking about Sarah Hartsfield, a woman out of Texas who this week was convicted of killing her most recent husband, her fifth husband, and sentenced today to life in prison. Let's talk about who she is, who he is, and kind of what came of this case. So Joseph Hartsfield was Sarah's fifth husband, died of an overdose of insulin. You can see Sarah here on your screen. Now, the prosecution said that Joseph and Sarah would constantly fight even just after a few months, and that Joseph was planning on leaving her, but that Sarah was going to do whatever it took to keep him with her. Well, in January of 2023, he suffered this diabetic emergency, and prosecutors said Sarah delayed calling for help in this, and that there were evidence of insulin shots and things all over the area that he was found in, and ultimately that led to his death. Now, Sarah's defense team said that Joseph mismanaged his diabetes and that there was actually no known cause of death in this case, so therefore she could not possibly be responsible. But here's the thing. This trial went on for 1 week only, and for a murder trial, it's honestly pretty short. And there was some bombshell testimony that happened here. For example, Joseph's mom testified she started to worry after Sarah admitted that she had killed her ex-fiance. What? We'll get to that again in a second here because that becomes really important in this story. But apparently, Joseph's mom testified that her son confided fears of dying in his sleep and asked her for money so he could open a new bank account when he planned to leave Sarah. Now, they also played a voicemail from Joseph that he left after he had returned home from a fight with Sarah. This was played in court, and he told his mom, quote, "I went home preparing to be shot, but nothing happened." Okay, bizarre. He was hospitalized a few days later from insulin complications where he eventually was pronounced dead. Now, let's talk about this fiance that was shot dead as well. In May of 2018, Sarah Hartsfield had killed her fiance, David Bragg, in Minnesota. She said it was self-defense, that he shot first, and then she shot him to defend herself in that case. So she was never charged for David Bragg's murder. She was using a different last name at the time, and that was never a case that was fully investigated because they thought case closed. Well, now things are a little bit different. That case is being reopened because there's another husband of Sarah's that came forward. His name is Titus, and he said, well, I also feared for my life for a while, and he actually talked about it in public on the media. I want to show you what he had to say about his time with Sarah.
I was honestly surprised to get out of my marriage alive because I was in the Army. I had a $200,000 life insurance on myself at the time. So I was very concerned that I would end up dead so she could get the money.
Okay. Clearly there's an issue here, and when people started digging more into Sarah's past, they found out that she has lived in 39 different places. She has been married 5 times. So now not only is the Minnesota investigation back open, but detectives and investigators believe that there is a high chance Sarah Hartsfield could be connected to other deaths around the country, and the sheriff addressed that in Texas too.
Now we have other cases that have been reopened in other states. And I'm glad they have reopened those cases because I feel like they're probably going to find a very similar scenario as to what we have.
So is it possible that Sarah Hartsfield could be a serial killer? Potentially. It's not confirmed yet, and we don't know exactly what happened with everything in the Minnesota case. They're going to have to reinvestigate. But things just kept coming up about her past, and honestly, in our newsroom, we started talking about how this felt eerily similar to Lori Vallow Daybell and the fact that she also had 5 husbands and that multiple of them ended up dead. It felt like a similar thing minus the religious aspect of it, at least that we know so far. We do know Sarah Hartsfield will not be able to commit a crime again because she is now behind bars for life. But we do continue to learn more, and there is a possibility that other investigations could be reopened in other deaths or murders, possibly linked to Sarah Hartsfield.